What's up, guys? E-Drone here, and today we are going to be continuing our programming series on the Martian 2 build and setting up our flight modes and switches. Stay tuned. So let's go ahead and get into it. In order to get your switches set up on Betaflight to do like arm switching and beeper and buzzer and your different flight modes, you're going to need to go ahead and power on your Tyrannus. You're going to need to push the 3 lines here to get into your main menu. You're going to page over once you select your model, which we've already got our model selected. You're going to page over to the mixer. Now, once you get to the mixer, you can scroll down and channel 5 on here, you can see that we have this switch set to arm. Now, if we hold this button right here, you can go to edit. So now you can give it a name, which I've named it arm, just by toggling there. And then right here where it says source, if you push this, I want my arm switch to be this button right here, but let's just say I want to change it to this button here. You can see now it's changed to SA. Whatever switch you turn, it's going to recognize that switch and it's going to select that switch for you. But I don't want that switch. I want this top switch here to be my arm switch. So I'm going to push it.
Motors armed.
And now you can see it's back to the SF. That is the switch that I want to use. So once you decide which switch you want, you name it. Really, that's all you need to do. You can also select it manually, but I think it's easier to just turn the switch and have it select it for you. So go ahead and push in on this this little scroll wheel, and now it has been saved. Now you can exit out of there, and you're going to do the same thing for channel 6 and channel 7. You can see that I've already set these for modes for our different flight modes and buzzer for our buzzer. So once you have those set up, go ahead and exit out. And then now what you need to do is go ahead and go into the Betaflight configurator. So now we are in the Betaflight configurator, and in order to set up our switch modes, we need to go down here to the modes tab. Go ahead and click on that. And right here where it says arm, you're going to push add range. Now you have this nice little bar that's popped up. And if you actually select this little window to auto, you can choose the button you want.
Motors armed.
And it's automatically detected that aux1 is the switch that you selected. Now right now this little yellow tick here has moved over here, and there's no yellow bar over top, which means in this position, the motors will not arm. Well, I want the motor to arm in this position, so I'm going to drag my little yellow top piece to go right over here, and I'm just going to shrink this up a little bit, right about there. So now you can see when I turn the motors off, the tick is now away from underneath of the yellow area here, and that means the motors are going to be off now. Motors on, motors off. So you get the idea. So that's done. Now, we want to add our angle mode. First off, you need to have your gyro turned on. And in order to add the angle mode, you're going to push add range. And once again, select this auto, makes it easier for you. So over here, the 3 position switch here, I want to be my flight modes.
Angle mode.
So you can now see that this switch completely all the way up is now found it as aux2. I'm going to go ahead and set up our horizon mode. So the horizon I want to be right in the middle of the switch here. So what we're going to do is put it back in angle mode. You can see the tick has moved over. Now we're going to add range for our horizon. Leave it in auto. Flip the switch. And you can see you can have aux2 on more than one range here. So now the tick has moved over here, and you can see you have one tick here, one tick here. So now that the tick over here on the angle range is not underneath this yellow tab, it is not going to be in angle mode. Now it is under the yellow tab on the horizon range. So now we'll go back to angle.
Angle mode.
You can see it lit up orange. Now back to horizon. Now we're in horizon mode. Now the last mode we need to add is our acro. And acro doesn't necessarily have a range on here, but in order to activate acro, you see how the ticks moved over and there's no yellow underneath any of these ticks here. That means you're now in acro mode. There's no stabilization that's going to help assist with your flight. It's complete acro mode now. So that's how you set up your switches. We also need to set up our beeper switch. So just like the other ones, it's quite simple. You're going to add range. Now I want my beeper switch to be this top toggle switch here, which you turn it, but as soon as you let off, it goes off. That way you can just kind of turn it up to get your beep and then let off of it and it stops. That way it doesn't get stuck on. So I like that. So now beeper on, beeper off. So you saw when I turned the beeper on, the tick moved over here. So all we need to do is slide this yellow piece over. And I could technically leave this here, but I just like to tighten it up a little bit, make it look a little more neater. And we'll do it right about there. So now watch again. Turn the beeper on. You can see the yellow tick is now underneath the yellow slider. Beeper off. There's nothing above the slider. That means it's off. And I'm just going to tighten this up a little bit more. Right about there. There we go. So beeper on, beeper off. Easy enough, guys. So that's how you set up your flight modes through your Taranis QX7 and also on the Betaflight configurator. Now don't forget, after you do all this hard work, push the save button. That way it saves it to the craft. And you can see it's saved. Right up in here, it says saved. So now you're good. So now we have our flight mode set up. Also, guys, I wanted to apologize. I made a mistake when I was talking about my last Betaflight. Go back into the PID tuning tab, and upon further research, under filter settings, your D-term low-pass filter should not be biquad. Sorry about that. It should actually be PT1. So that was my mistake, and I'm going to link this video in the description of my first video, and therefore there is a correction. So everything else is the same. We're turning the gyro notch filter 1 and 2 off. We're leaving these filter settings alone, leaving that on, but instead of being a biquad, it needs to be PT1 upon further investigation and digging around. So sorry about that. And then you have to go hit the save button. Go ahead and hit save. And we're just going to go back out and just make sure that it's saved. So we're going to go back to the setup tab, and now I'm going to go back to the PID tuning tab and just make sure, and there you go. It saved it as PT1. So I apologize. Like I said, programming is definitely not my forte. It's not my favorite thing to do, and I'm still learning a lot. So bear with me. But if I do make a mistake and I catch it, I will let you know in a later video. That way we can all be on the same page, literally. So thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned because we're going to be doing our BL Heli configurator soon. We're going to be hooking into BL Heli. Also, we're going to be configuring our RunCam split through the Wi-Fi app with a Wi-Fi dongle that it came with through my phone. That'll be interesting. And I'm going to screen record everything so you can see how exactly we set all that up. And yeah, just stay tuned, guys. We're gonna get into this, and we're gonna be programming the motors, the ESCs, the flight controller, the camera. There's a lot involved into it, but you want to make sure that you have everything correct before you go out and fly, because nobody wants to spend all this time and money and build a quadcopter and then go to fly it, and then the thing just crashes into the ground and won't even fly right. So we're going to make sure we go step by step, make sure we do this correctly. Please like, share, and subscribe. Till next time, E-Drone out.
You